mess with how I think and who I am, I think I labeled it as brain and spinal cord. You can do everything else, just don't touch those. If you touch those, that person ain't that person anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's that's funny because the whole like nano technology,
Nanobots,
nanobots joint, where it kind of goes in and can potentially change you or change things, or yeah, it's very sci-fi, right? And
Welcome to Fire Talks by Tech Wing Bites. I'm Clint. I've built software, led teams, and now a founder, helping builders who are ready to make the leap but can't quite see the path yet. Every episode is one conversation closer to clarity on ownership, execution,
not
and
sure,
momentum.
whatever, but the topic that I selected, of course, is still revolving around tech and AI, but
right,
the CES um, event or
right,
conference or whatever
yeah,
happened in Vegas recently,
yeah.
and I
Was it
haven't
last week?
watched all the videos. Say again?
Was that last week? I feel like it was
Yeah,
last.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was last week.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch all the videos,
Mhm.
but the few that I saw, like it got my brain firing. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And I was like, hey, this could make for a good conversation. I don't know how much you've watched or read about it.
Yeah,
So it's that. So we
yeah.
could definitely dive into that. And the core theme that I recognize in the videos I watch with CES is more
Mhm.
so pertaining to um, individual, like what's happening at home.
Okay,
Uh,
gotcha.
you know what I mean? So we'll dive into that.
Mhm.
What is the other thing I wanted to tell you? Oh, well, the YouTube channel, which I already told you that. All right, cool. So that's it pretty much. We can dive into the stuff.
Yeah,
Hassan may join, Kevin may join. I think you met them before. If not, we'll do
yeah,
a quick
the last one.
introduction. All right, cool. The thing about the CES, man, is
Mhm.
the general theme that popped out to me
Mhm.
is AI for individuals, which is weird because big tech, not
Mhm.
only in the United States but across the world, is building enhancements for individuals.
Mhm.
Yes, there's some productivity stuff.
Right.
Yes, there's some scary stuff like Starlink, I believe it's called.
Starlink, that's isn't that Musk's his
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
satellite
Yeah, yeah.
communication? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, no, I said it wrong. Starlink is that. I didn't mean Starlink. I meant Neuralink.
Oh, the Neuralink. Yeah, 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 okay, yeah. That's also ironically that's also Musk, but that's the when it's the chips in essentially chips in not chips in brains per se, but you know I'm torn about that specific one, uh,
Hmm.
specifically because so for me personally, right?
Hmm.
I'm I'm blind in one eye, or
Okay.
sorry, legally blind in one eye. Colors, I see colors, I see shapes.
Okay.
I can mostly make out if somebody puts up like how many fingers, I can mostly make out the fingers,
Hmm.
depending on how far away they are from me.
Hmm.
But outside of that, yeah, no, that one eye is good. It's good for peripheral vision. That's basically
Right.
what I consider. So I'm essentially monocular, but I can still kind of,
Monomolecular. Okay.
the second eye kind of still works for being able to see stuff coming out. I can still see stuff coming from that side of my, but it's mostly blurry. So
So, are you saying you're willing to use AI to
I did
correct your
not
vision?
say that. I did not say that. It's torn, as in,
Yeah.
as in, there's sometimes where I could consider it. I can see why I would consider
Hmm.
it, or because LASIK is a thing that I've considered in the past, but I'm not a viable candidate for it.
Hmm.
My personally, or at least most ophthalmologists, they'll be like, "No, you have one good eye. I don't want to risk that,
Yeah.
because it's not a 100% no potential complications type of surgery, right?"
Right.
So,
Right.
so they're like, "Okay, no," but so obviously, I would think about at least the opportunity for that one eye to get enhanced. I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up, I saw stuff like, Bionic. What's the name of that cartoon? It was like an '80s cartoon. Oh, okay.
George Jetson,
No, that's like
the Jetsons.
50s, 60s. Which that's also with Rosie. What was it? Rosie? Yeah, Rosie Robot. So that's the
Rosa.
idea. But I was thinking more like the Bionic. I think it's called the Bionic Six. I think yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
Bionic Six, huh?
yeah. So yeah,
I gotta look that up. I
yeah,
gotta look that
it
up.
lasted. It probably
Now I'm not
lasted like a
remembering.
season or two, maybe. It was during the heyday of Transformers, Thundercats, Key-Man, GI Joe, and it's like those were like your top tier ones, right?
Oh, Bionic
So,
Six.
yeah, those are like the big four. Iron Six came in probably
I
like
do remember this.
a tier below, maybe even two tiers below. But they had
Yeah.
bionic vision, right? So
I,
and
I mean, they couldn't beat Thundercats, man. Come
well,
on,
no,
man.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it was like a tier or two below those. Like I said,
Yeah.
Thundercats, GI Joe, Transformers.
Hmm.
What was the last one I said? Probably Thundercats. So it was a tier below those cartoons. Those were the big ones at the time, and nothing else really could penetrate. Was it GI Joe? Was
Yeah,
I
Joe.
was gonna say they've been around. It's funny, GI Joe was on for a long time, but the cartoon blew up in like the early, I want to say early to mid '80s, and
Hmm.
then after that, everything just was, GI Joe this. Then Transformers come in like a year or two later, and that
Hmm.
was off everything. I guess He-Man was there. I guess He-Man was there too, but for me, Transformers was my big thing. Um,
Yeah.
and
Transformers.
yeah, those
I
that was
think
my
that was mine too.
yeah, that was my favorite. And so AI, is near and dear, kind of like just from way back then, because we're talking about robots with personalities, robots, that think and all of that.
Well, we also talking about the hybrid of that, which
Yes,
is, you know, human augmentation. I
yes,
saw a clip once. I was doing my doom scrolling,
hmm
and there was this lady, and the lady was saying that her daughter wanted to get some technology augmentation in her body, so she can
oh,
just scan,
oh,
instead of carrying cards, she just
uh-huh.
can like scan. And
Oh,
mom's was like, nah,
yeah,
I don't want you to do that. And she
yeah,
had this big thing, but she's like, you know what? If you really want to do it, let me try it first. But when you see
uh-huh.
mom's is like 30% robot. Like
Mhm.
not visually, but like
Yeah,
she has implants below her skin. She
uh-huh,
has stuff, in behind her retina,
uh-huh.
and so it's like she said it's like tattoos. Some people say when you get one tattoo,
She
you
got
get
addicted to
addicted.
it.
You got to keep, because she kept getting it. She kept getting it, and then she found this community of people that want the augmentation, right?
Yeah,
So Neuralink, we might be sitting here saying, oh, I don't know, but there's a whole community of
mhm.
people is loving, these implants, and
Yeah,
even more excited
yeah.
about it being
Biomodding. That's
yeah,
yeah, but
biomodding,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I read a little bit about that. Like I said, for me, it's always been about the function. For me, it would be like a functional thing
uh
first before I
yeah.
do cosmetic. Like I don't necessarily think I'd ever necessarily get something embedded in my arm just so I can scan through something, right?
I mean, but you might get it, that dude on Star Trek, he got the
Oh,
glasses,
yeah, the Forge, yeah, Jordy LaForge. I guess those are where you got that
yeah.
bicep. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Hassan. um
Hey, how you doing, man?
could you hear us?
He might not be able to hear it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, you can. All right. Cool.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Now
I can
now
hear
we
you.
can hear. Yeah, we're just talking about human augmentation with AI. What's the technical term? You said bio what?
Biomodding.
Biomodding.
Yeah,
Biomodding. We were reflecting a little
That
bit
sounds
on
sophisticated.
it's before the AI trend, right?
yeah,
We were reflecting on the CES conference and all of the things there. And one of it is definitely um tools that's being built for, I don't want to say human productivity, but more like human companionship. right? And so the first part of that this the discussion, we leaned a little bit into the biomodding, where biomodding is just people putting computer chips in them. This is before AI. This stuff
Mhm.
was already happening. So these groups of people is excited, for AI, because AI could help these chips to do more, right? And
Mhm.
what we saw in and I haven't seen all the videos, but what I saw at CES, so just watching some of the videos, is that Neuralink, which is Elon Musk stuff, he is really that group is really pushing using AI to augment or biomod parts of the brain, which is like I don't mind biomodding everywhere else, but the brain just seems like you're
Mhm.
not going to be you after a while. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, maybe if it
Right.
works perfectly, I
Mhm.
will still think you are you, but you would not be you because it's not you anymore. Like it's a computer,
Right, right.
mimicking and
Mhm.
mirroring,
Yeah.
different parts of you.
Well, and this may not be a popular thought, but for me, it's anytime you have something like AI, especially the extremely rich and powerful, they always try to take it too far, right? They want to do things that really kind of should be left alone, like you were talking about with the human being. It's um, yeah, it's just to me it's going a little further than I think it should. But that's just who we are as humans and how things work.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. Just FYI, your audio is a little bit scratchy. Just FYI on that. I think we heard everything you said. But I
Yeah, my
100% agree,
connection's a
Hassan.
little shaky.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, but I definitely agree. I was having a deep conversation with a friend the other day about um, this topic specifically. That hey, if AI was to regrow your limbs because you lost your arm or your leg or
mhm.
organs, I mean, we're already putting pacemakers in people's hearts already. So of course AI can make that stuff work better. I even
Mhm.
saw uh, a Venom. I'm going to say Venom to give you a visual. A Venom type blob that
Mhm.
is a robot that can go inside of you kind of organically and kind of fit into weird places that
Mhm.
a controller, a human controller on the outside, you kind of could control this robot. Okay, I'm fine with all of that. Once you start to mess with how I think and who I am, I think I labeled it as brain and spinal cord. You can do everything else, just don't touch those. If you touch those, that person ain't that person anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's that's funny because the whole
Mhm.
Venom like nano technology,
Nanobots,
nanobots
yeah,
joint where it kind of goes in and can potentially change you or change things or yeah, it's very sci-fi, right? And
yeah. Well,
we're
close to reality now.
right, yeah, I know we're getting to that point where what was sci-fi and stories and stuff like that is becoming reality. We're
Yeah,
getting to that. We're getting slowly pushing ourselves to that point.
yeah,
And obviously, there are a lot of not just ethical questions that come along with that,
hmm
but and philosophical questions that come along with that. You know, mainly being main ones being how do we make it safe when we get there,
hmm
and should we?
I
Because there's
mean,
always that point where it's like, could we? Yeah, sure. Should we?
yeah,
That becomes more of a question, right? It's so.
but that's the challenge, right? It's
Mm,
what is the definition of safe, right?
mm, right.
Someone say, well, making sure you don't die. But
Mm,
if I can create the illusion of you not being dead,
dead. Right.
then it's
Yeah,
safe.
right. Yeah. So I think about some things sometimes. So for here's one thing I've seen
hmm
uh, with the automated cars. Now, let's not to get too sci-fi because
hmm
we're just kind of bringing this something that's a little bit more closer to reality right now. You
hmm
know, to me, safe for that would be a significant reduction in vehicular deaths, right? That's what I would consider safe for. It's for safety in the context of the thing that it's doing. So,
Okay.
if a car's, driving around and it still makes the same mistakes that people make,
Mhm.
is it really is it really something that we need to be doing? Right? No.
True. True. True.
So there's a context to what safety is. And
Yeah.
I think, you as we grow, as AI grows, and as we figure out how to actually navigate AI,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of those questions I think that we, the people, should be asking.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we should be asking that of the people that are making the AI, how much we can influence. Usually that comes from bottom line of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
If we pay for it, if we don't pay for it, versus if you're not paying for it. That's usually what will end up being how we determine that.
Mm-hmm.
And use, how much we use it. So
Yeah.
safety safety becomes an all around, all of us thing. It's not
Yeah.
just, you know,
True.
yeah,
You make an excellent point. That the definition of safety really comes down to context of what it is and what it's actually being used for. That's
right.
that's that's a good fact. Wow.
Yeah.
Hassan, you look a lot better. I think you switched.
You
I
switch, yeah,
did.
Just
switch
letting you
cameras.
know. You did
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I switched from my tablet to my phone because of course my the Wi-Fi here is a little spotty.
Mm,
And
got you.
so I
Got
was
you.
using my phone as the hotspot, but the hotspot wasn't giving it
Okay.
the type of bandwidth
It-
that it
it-
needed.
the
Yeah.
hotspot was not. It
Yeah.
needed
No.
AI.
Yeah. Block
It
wasn't
was a
not good.
cold spot. So
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk about the external devices that is fiction-ish and
Mhm.
closer to not quite biomodding, but
Mhm.
next to biomodding, right? So we
Mhm.
talk about smart glasses, smart
Yeah.
AirPods,
Mhm.
beam me up, Scotty,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Like there's this game called Destiny 2, and it has a
Yeah.
little, assistant that kind of follows the guy around, and
Mhm.
mhm.
and within the spaceships, like Star Trek, a computer, could you do this analysis? Computer, could you tell me? Like we literally did. I just
Mhm.
the other day, no, I lied. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I started, and yesterday I was back at it. I went into Chat GPT and I said, "Let's play a game," and I'm enjoying the game. And the game is pretty much guess what I'm thinking.
Yes, what I'm thinking. Okay.
We just keep
Yeah.
going back and forth, right? And so CES seems to produce a lot of that.
Mhm.
Back what I was saying, like focusing on the consumers, big companies, big money, trying to
Mhm.
make a bunch of these stuff and say, hey, more glasses because you want to record yourself, because you want an assistant right here, because you
Mhm.
want an assistant in your ear. So it's more and more of those tools. That seems to be like the current trend, even down to lightings.
Mhm.
I have lightings in here, and you probably can't see it, but when I'm talking, it blinks and it goes
Oh
crazy in here, like if I'm having
gosh.
a strobe light in here. But those types of lighting, are comfort lighting and mood lightings, right?
Mhm.
Like they're using AI to help with that. These are small, tiny things, but these are the things that individuals seems to care about most. Obviously, it's going to be within your vehicle, right?
Mhm.
Your watch, and now it knows everything about you. Been
Right.
already there, but it can probably like calculate stuff better. I think some of that is good. I'm a big watch guy, right? I
Mhm.
keep track of my health on that. So if I was to have AI to, calculating the trend and say, hey, your heart is not doing right. You need to eat right. You need to start working out. Get up. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, great.
Yeah.
But some of these other tools just seems redundant. It makes me wonder to what end.
Mhm.
Like what's the next big thing? And that's on the middle tier, right?
Right.
The low tier is still productivity and
Yeah.
better sales force and better CRM, right? But on the high tier, we're talking about the Neuralink. The
Right.
Neuralink, the we want to create a ship, put AI and robotics in it, and send it to space and see how
Mhm.
far it goes. And
Mhm.
while it keeps sending information back, we want to
Mhm.
create satellites and have it use solar to regenerate power
Mhm.
and collect data and create this kind of, what do they call it, like an iron dome where they're kind of
Oh, okay.
connecting.
Mhm.
What's also scary because now it can track you. There's so many topics, right? There's like so many things in here. It's like, what's the big plan? Is the big plan to track me, and the small plan is to get these devices so that you can track me to make me so
Mhm.
dependent upon it?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I
Yes.
mean, yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
No, that was my response. Yes. I mean,
Uh-huh.
the thing is of course everything is surrounded around how much money can this make, right?
Mhm.
What kind of market is this going to create?
Mhm.
Um, everything that I see is, and that's the reason why they're trying to get AI to be so humanistic, or have such human features, rather than just using AI. To me, like, I think it needs to be. I think David said this last fire talk was, AI should be a collaborator, right? It should be a partner to the human. I think that's when you're going to have the best results. But um, it's a chase to see who can make the most money with it, and that's just the way that I feel that, like anything that comes out new, that's one of the things that really pushes people to come up with all these different new things that can be done. And that's also the reason why you have people, who fear AI the way that they do, because of the fact that, they know how we are as human beings. We're going to
Hmm.
use AI to try to replace as many people as can, so that I can make as much money as I can with less work, right? And so,
Hmm.
um, that, to me, that's where I see it going. And it really sucks, because I think this AI thing is really, a great collaborator. Like, I use it as a collaboration tool. I know that, Clint, you do as well, and it does a great job as that.
Hmm.
But we go outside the lanes. They try to switch lanes, and I think sometimes they even try to switch freeways. Right, like they're totally outside the lane. They're all on a whole different freeway, and in that, there's going to be, there may be some really good things that they come up with, but for the most part, I think that they find their lane, they stay in their lane, and then they just improve it as they go.
Mhm.
Is there truly a stay in the lane situation with AI?
Oh God, no, 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 no.
Oh, no, well, I mean, there's not one. That's what I'm saying is how I feel it should be, right? Not
Yeah,
not how it is.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Huh.
It's fun.
Uh,
It's funny because when I think about it, the the way we exist. I mean, if we exist. What we exist in is a capitalistic society, right?
Absolutely.
So
Agreed.
start from there, which means every company is always out for their bottom dollar and to get the most out of it.
Hmm.
That's the bottom line. So everything that they do, everything that they've done has been, okay, how are we going to maximize our profits? Okay, we see that AI right now is helpful in, like, the LLMs. Like, the LLMs was it's not, LLMs not even the first thing that they did, right? I mean, there was other
Hmm.
things that came before that, but let's just use LLMs now, because LLMs is, well, for the past 3 years, 2 3 years, that has been the big thing. And so their monetization, so the way they monetize it is,
Hmm.
they show it in a way that, oh yeah, this, we're helpful, we want to get more people using it, so
Yeah.
they humanize it, and they make it so that it feels like it's a friend, or feels like it's a colleague in some way, shape, or form. And it's still just number one. It's still just ones and zeros at the end of
Hmm.
the day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the design is made so that we feel more comfortable with it, so that when we encounter it, we are willing to spend money on it. It's
Yeah.
it's dating us.
Yeah, how
Yeah,
what the game is scored in dollars, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. So they're taking us out to dinner. They're just trying to figure out how. They're trying to figure out how to make us, want to spend more money on them.
Well,
It's
I challenge that. Yes, I think
yeah.
money is the middle catalyst to everything,
Mhm.
but I really think it comes down to our perceived attention, right? We
Mhm.
spend money because we think that is valuable,
Right.
right?
Right.
So they put a price tag on it, but that's the thing I want to do. I want that smart meta glasses, for example,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
I want that experience that is now enhanced with AI. So there's a perceived value of the experience or what the individual is gonna get. I feel better if
Mhm.
it's like you said, humanized, right? It's
Mhm.
it's thinking. AI is not thinking, but thinking,
Right.
right? And if they apply it onto a robot that looks like a human, got
Mhm.
arms and a head and everything,
Mhm.
then it's more relatable,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it's like they're playing on our perception.
Yeah.
Yes, to get the money. Obviously, that is the
Mhm.
the intent. But I feel like the true currency is us saying, yes, I want that.
Well, yeah, it's valuable. Yeah. It has to position itself as valuable some way to
Hmm.
us. If there's no value to us, then there's no way we're going to spend on it because
Yeah,
we don't see a value in it. So
yeah, yeah.
it definitely has to position itself however we as people or humans establish value.
Hmm.
In the end, that these companies have to either one make us believe is valuable, or
Hmm.
two make it valuable. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
They have to change our perception of what valuable is,
Mhm.
or it has to
Uh-huh.
fill our perception of what valuable is.
Would you agree that they're already doing that by using words like the AI is thinking, quote quote? Because we know it's not
Mhm.
thinking, it's processing, but
Right. Right.
the words that they use, it's thinking. And
Yes.
another
Yes.
one is AI is smart. It's smarter
Mhm.
than you.
Right. Yeah. 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 So yes, and it's giving it a sense of authority when it says, the everything, like the language that it uses, it's marketing speak, right?
Marketing speak.
It's
Yeah.
they're marketing it to us in a way that, okay, it makes it feel or seem smarter. It makes it feel like it's novel, new, and something that you have to have. Like, it creates a sense of urgency around it.
Yeah.
It's we're being sold. I mean, we're being sold.
Yeah. I mean, but it is cool though. Like
Oh
the
no, yeah.
glasses is cool.
That's not to say that. That's not to say this is not. These aren't things that Look, I mean, you mentioned Dre LaForge a long time, a little bit earlier in the talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, those by that visor, and yeah, it allowed him to see different spectrums of light, and allowed him to see a whole lot of different things that you couldn't normally see. So,
Hmm.
so for someone like me, like I would love that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
in the glasses, yeah, I would actually enjoy that. But so I already
But
had it already
but, but
had
if you
the
do
value
it,
to me. Would I do it? Would I
no,
have the income?
well, if you do it, you got to
Uh-huh.
wear a cape. Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Hey, what's up? I'm Clint. Thank you for hanging out with me on this one. If you're listening or watching this cut, the full episode is on techwingman.substack.com. Go subscribe. It's worth it. And if you're already a paid member, you're good. Keep watching. Either way, I'll love to hear your thoughts. I actually read that stuff. All right, back to the episode. Hey, one more thing. I know I don't always talk directly to who's watching and listening. I'm still figuring out this podcast thing. Bear with me as I build. I appreciate you being here though and staying with me this far. Thanks again. Now back to the episode.